This call is
Well,
being recorded.
welcome to Ask Gwen, everyone. And I have Jessica with me, and I'm going to let Miss Jessica take it away and share her story with you guys. And then I will be asking her a couple new baseline questions. For those of you who've hung around me long enough, know that I like to switch it all up at the beginning of the year, this being 2021 now. And so I am going to let Miss Jessica take it away.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Wynn, thank you so much for the invitation. I'm Jessica Dunn Russell, and I'm actually calling in from Los Angeles, California, from my office in Beverly Hills. And I have a very diverse background. I am in my early 50s, and I'm proud to say I have a lot of business experience. I studied psychology. I verged very heavily into business and consulting, and I had the privilege of working with people all over the United States. I lived in Europe, and I love culture. And I was very fortunate to be able to do a lot of things that I hope to accomplish in my life. I am self-made. I had worked very hard, and most of what I was able to do was contributed to real estate. And so I was able to own a few companies. And the reason why I'm bringing all of this up is because later in my life, about 15 years ago, my life changed and I took a turn. I didn't like the person that I had become. I had a lot of luxuries and I was able to live very nicely, but I was killing myself virtually. And I was becoming very angry. And I needed to look into myself and have a change. So I went back to school and I tried to learn a little bit about myself. I also was one who was involved with hundreds of events and training and public speaking, but I needed to calm down and I needed to learn specific things that would bring me back to my heart or my core. And you and I, when we're talking a little bit about this, and I studied a lot about the mind and the body and how each of it needs each other in order to function well and healthy. And most of us, especially with COVID around the world, and I am in Los Angeles, and I'm in the part of Los Angeles where we are still affected. Because of my business, I am considered an essential worker with part of what I do. And I have offices that I can go to, but unfortunately, most everybody for about a year has still been on lockdown in
Yeah.
Los Angeles. And it's a really bad situation here in Los Angeles, and it's certainly not the way that it used to be, but I'm very, very excited, and I feel that a lot of people, if you communicate, you are speaking with friends or associates, are very excited for 2021. And I think for all of us, no matter what we went through, it's going to be a really, really good year.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree. I mean, I unfortunately was put in the situation of basically saving my own life. And as of last week, as of the end of 2020, I was put in the situation of saving my own life and getting my self out of my house that almost exploded on me and with
Oh,
me in it. And so that wasn't very pretty. But I agree that the heart and the mind need to work together. And so, yeah, I agree that the heart and the mind need to work together. I also agree that we still have a long way to go out of this COVID situation.
I have to agree with you, unfortunately. Um, I think though, for each one of us though, it's pretty much created all of us to reflect on what we are, what we became
Yeah,
in personality, what's important. I will tell you, and I'm American, I mean it kindly to everybody in America, but we're very privileged here and
yes,
we are spoiled. And we need to come back to who we really are and get in touch with our feelings. And I think with COVID, we've learned about compassion. We don't blame people, we don't shame people. But I think, unfortunately, we don't have a settled climate. I don't want to get into it, but because of our political arena, it doesn't matter which side you're on, we need to be human because
yeah.
none of this
I
stuff is good for anyone.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree. I mean, we need to be human, and we need to understand the aspects of a world pandemic.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think there's going to be people who will not be able to be who they truthfully wanted to be in their life. A lot of professions and stability and dreams have been shattered, but
Yeah,
some people will continue on. I feel that this is definitely a time to step out of the circles, per se, that we are in our own life and try to calm and relax and look back in and try to reinvent. It shouldn't be something that's done through stress or creating anxiety for yourself. It's just basically to take a deep breath and relax and try to calmly plan out where we would like to go and where we want to go. And if we don't hit our target within a short duration of time, it's okay, because one thing that I learned is we're not in competition. It doesn't matter how rich or poor somebody was, it doesn't matter how young or old. This has affected everybody, and it's not just here, it's all around the world. But,
yeah,
most people work with their neighborhood climate, and we just have to go at our own pace. But number one is more important than anything. This has created some time for us, but we need to take care of ourselves and our health. And most people are walking around with a lot of anxiety. And if it's you, then truthfully, you need to just take a deep breath. And we always know that regardless of what happens, you will be okay. But you just have to reorganize and you have to let certain things go and not let it bother you if it's out of your control. And you need to reboot and try to make a realistic plan for the future and strive high. Don't think that you have to settle, because when you start from nothing, sometimes it's actually easier to see the clear road ahead and you can be better than who you may have been before if you wanted to accomplish something that you didn't at that time. And right now, we have a little bit of extra time in our hands to put things together for ourselves and try different things. And don't be afraid, just jump in,
yeah.
jump in and
I mean,
try to
this
do it.
trust. See, I'm the type that jumps and then lands and somehow makes it. Makes it with help, but it's okay to ask for help. And you
Oh,
people
absolutely.
keep teasing me all the time. You keep saying, well, when you have a physical disability, you have every right to ask for help. And
Oh, but you're
you
amazing. I'm,
deserve
I'm sure you
to
do so
ask
much more
for
than people
help.
without a disability do, and that just goes to show
Yeah.
you we get lazy in our own
Oh,
self.
yeah. Oh, yeah. But my main point being is it's okay to ask for help. If you need help, ask for it.
Yeah.
Just
I think this has showed. I'm doing all the talking. I apologize, but I think this has showed us that we do really need, and with most people, especially where I live, it sounds very cliche, but we are in this together. But once this kind of subsides and it shifts away, this is the biggest lesson we'll ever learn in our life. But we need to keep working together. And this totally goes into a whole different area, but with women, I don't know what the deal is with us, but it's like we are so powerful and we handle so many things and we have so much on our shoulder. And even when we're like in our totally stressed times, we still accomplish so much, and we don't give ourselves enough credit. But at the same time, most women don't work with each other. It's like we're against each other and we're our own little animal separate. And this is the time that we need to reinvent and come closer and really start forming really nice bonds and friendships, and take this time to really understand that everybody needs help, whatever that may mean.
Yeah.
There's no shame in it. I mean, my
Whether it
God.
be physical, emotional, spiritual, everyone needs help. Everyone needs help. Now, I have a couple questions for you, and
Sure.
I want to ask you if you had to walk in one person's shoes for a day, who would that be?
Well, if I was going to walk in somebody's shoes, I think, truthfully, it would be, I don't have a name to give you, but it would be somebody who I feel has the ability to make a difference for so many people. Whether it's because they have some kind of an organization, or if it's because they had the money to offer to make things great for those who are, don't have abilities, or so forth. That I like to give. So that would make me really happy if I didn't have limitations.
So, it's not,
Oprah. We'll say Oprah.
it's gonna be Oprah. It's gonna be Oprah. I knew,
Miss Oprah.
I knew that. I knew that from the get-go because it's not that you want to walk in a famous person's shoes. You just want to walk in a person's shoes that helps. And Oprah did what she did, and Oprah came up from nothing, you guys.
Oh
Oprah
yeah.
came up from a little person in Chicago to this big media journalist. And so, yeah,
Yeah, and I won't get really into it, but as you know, she didn't have such a wonderful home life, and there was a lot of abuse, and there was a lot of circumstances behind that would just make. And this is the will of intention. It's just some people have it in them that are able to break through all of this, but I think everybody has it. It's just when you feel it, you have to grasp it and you have to take it and run with it and make sure that,
yeah.
you succeed with it. And that's hard, but I think we all have that in us.
And what was the most valuable lesson you learned in 2020?
Okay, so it has to do with what we were talking about before. This has humbled me. And I mean, I sounded, I believe, at the beginning of the podcast as if I had the world, I had, luxuries, offices, businesses, and that.
Yeah.
It's been hard. It wasn't easy. And I have lost a lot in my life. I lost everything at one time. But what's more precious is I lost my mom. She was very close with me and she was my best friend. And that was the biggest lesson in my life. However, COVID has taught me that you can't judge people. And we are truthfully, again, in the same situation. We have to do for each other in order to help carry each other up to build total success. And I'm very proud because I'm American, and I was able to work with people out of the country, and I lived out of the country, and I think that there's something very special about America, and everybody would like to be here, or everyone would like to just take a vacation here. And we have a lot of power because of people want to be a part of us. And so we're a very strong role model. And I don't take that for granted when people look up to me or if I can do something that can help someone. And so I know that to be in America or be American, we need to build our standards up again, and we need to kind of find a self because we've really have taken a tumble this year. And this is something that obviously, nobody's going to forget, but we need to learn how to go forward. And I believe, there probably will, from what we're hearing from science, and I'm a believer in science, go through, unfortunately, another COVID type of a situation. And, people are doing the best that they can do. But
Yeah,
we're still going out to
yeah.
restaurants and we're still, going out. We're very lucky. But we need to learn to listen a little bit more because we're just so used to being independent.
We need to learn how to listen, and we need to learn how to ask for help, and we need to learn how to, and I hate to be blunt, but how to help our fellow man.
I think you said it because that's what was going through my mind. It's not just about asking for help, but we see people who need help, whatever that may be, every day. And we'll just walk by or we'll judge or we just won't bother. And I don't want to be that. I want to help people. I always tried, but I think more than ever, there's just so many circumstances, and we have to have more compassion because a lot of us lost ourselves.
A lot of us lost ourselves in the pandemic, and a lot of us lost loved ones literally in the pandemic.
Yeah.
And we just need to be more compassionate it to human society pre-pandemic, post-pandemic. Now it's almost post-pandemic because of the vaccines coming out. Um, Pfizer and Eli Lilly are doing their um, vaccine trials, and I know that in Colorado, where I'm located right now, they're slowly but surely rolling out the vaccine. And me, I'm going to try and get a COVID vaccine in the next couple of weeks here and
Oh,
see what, because I'm at high risk. I am, for those of you that don't know, I have cerebral palsy slash I have 4 disabilities under the auspices of cerebral palsy. So I'm at high risk. I could get it. I just need to be patient and wait and figure out figure out what's going on. But
yeah.
I know that vaccine is out there, and I know that we just need to be patient and help human society.
Yeah. Well, there was an interesting news story that came out today, and I know when this plays on air, that story will be gone and forgotten, but unfortunately, there was no plan when they rolled out the vaccine. And, this is another situation that shows you that without a plan, things don't work out the way that we hope. And
Yeah.
hopefully, the vaccine will be available for everyone in a short duration of time, um, because, we need it to go forward. And I hope and I pray and I believe, we have some extremely brilliant scientists that have worked with amazing circumstances that seem very confident that this is our way through this. So I hope you get it in a couple of weeks or
Well,
sooner.
I'm trying. I'm trying. just be patient like everyone else. But as soon as they give it to me, as soon as I get on the list and I have a call into my Health and Human Services, and they actually called me back, but I didn't pick up the phone call. But I want to see where Health and Human Services stands, and then
Mm.
if they say, well, we can see you at Health and Human Services to give you the vaccine, I'll be good.
I hope you get it.
And yeah, I hope I do too, but I just have to be patient like everyone else.
Yeah. Well, the sad part of it is if we had a plan, you know, I
Yeah,
think you would have gotten it a while ago. And I don't really understand the distribution part, but I heard some things today, which is very upsetting because it just goes to show you how wrong things are right now.
yeah.
And
Things
hopefully in the next few years and beyond, it starts getting on track and it just gets better and better. And people that are in, the political arena and all throughout will be able to get it together and be prepared, but not just be prepared, be able to effectively act on things. But that also has to do with us too. The lesson is still the same for us as well.
exactly. And so, um,
We know we got to keep
after,
some extra toilet paper around the house now,
oh yes, we
huh?
do. Yes, we do. Because if we're having another COVID situation, oh yes, we do. All kidding aside, but
Yeah.
if what is one thing you want to do after the pandemic is over?
Well, I think honestly, it's not just wishful thinking, but it's putting things in action. So I'm doing things differently now. I'm an older mom and I have two kids. They are 10 and 12 years old, and they're both boys. So they're a little crazy, and they keep me going and keep me young. And this year, I'm trying to do things a little bit for them to kind of guide them through all of this. Because if anybody has children, they know that this has been extremely difficult in so many ways for them. As adults, we have no choice but to deal with this. But for the kids, it's something
Yeah,
where their brains are too young or not really built yet to understand a lot of this, and they're growing up in an adult world with their adult problems because of parents, family, friends, what have you, and watching all of the television. But I am doing my business differently. Obviously we're doing a lot of online and podcasting and so forth. I'm building of working more client based, a lot of online training and consulting platforms. I am, bottom line, just really trying hard to stay to my core and be a better person and just
yeah,
live the rest of my life, however long that will be, and just be good and honest and just, try to leave greed and selfishness out of there and just live.
yeah,
Just live, just be grateful and thankful that we have people around us and we have a
yeah,
park. We can go to a store whenever we want. We have each other. That's just basically where I'm at right now.
yes. Be grateful for every day.
Grateful.
Be grateful for every day on this earth, and
Absolutely.
that's that's what 2000 and 2020 taught me, and I have never been so grateful for the people in my life, whether it's online or whether it's in person. I have ne- never been so grateful
Grateful.
for the people in my life. That's
Yeah.
what I think 2020 has taught me, and 2021 will continue
Yeah.
to teach me. And so, if you had to, if you had to choose one famous person, who would it be?
That I would like to be.
If you had to choose one famous person to, let's go, say, have lunch with, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh, well, I have to go with Miss Oprah again. I
Ah,
love her. Um, I never had the chance to meet her. I actually met Stedman. He seems lovely. He's just a very different type of a person on the outside compared to her.
yeah,
But um, she just seems so flawless, and she just,
yeah.
for someone who is what she is and has the abilities and the money and the this and the that, she has so much greatness. And that's our Dalai Lama, or I don't even want to say our royalty, because she's greater than royalty, but she's just so humble and she's just so good.
She is. She is. The philanthropy that she did, when she was on stage, when she was on, um, when she had her own show. And for those of you who are listening to this and want to see the April show, go look it up on YouTube.
On YouTube,
And
yeah. I remember. I
it's
remember the shows.
phenomenal. It's yeah, you and I remember the show because I grew up in the 90s. And so yeah, but it's phenomenal what she did.
Yeah.
And so as we wrap this interview up, one, do you have any questions for me? Two, where can people find you if they choose to do so?
Okay, well, there you can Google me. It's really easy, or you can send me an email through the HT as in Tom, C as in Charles, office at gmail.com. My companies do have websites. I'm on social media, and I'd love to, hear from people if I can help them in some way, or if they're interested in, having me speak or whatever. I can do that as well. I would love to know what propelled you to start your podcasting.
Um, Watching my mom die and then writing a book about my life with cerebral palsy propelled me into the journalism field. At the time, this podcast is still in existence. At the time, I was listening to a podcast called The Creative Pen, all about self publishing and all about book creation and marketing a book. And so I'm like, okay, I listened to it as I was writing the book. And
Mhm.
if again, if you go type in my name on YouTube, Joanna Penn actually, at the time when she did YouTube and a podcast, she doesn't do um, YouTube anymore.
Sorry
She
about
does
that.
do she just does a podcast. But at the time when she was doing YouTube stuff, she actually interviewed me as one of the original interviews that I did. And
Mhm.
I had a fangirl moment. And if you go back into the archives of Ask When, you'll see episode number one is with Joanna Penn. And I had a fangirl moment at that too because she was such sort of, to me, she's one of the top independent publishers in the UK and
Mhm.
independent and worldwide too. She has a huge fan base. But at the time, I thought, okay, once I hit the publishing button, how in the world am I going to market this book? Well,
Mm.
I thought, okay, I tried at the time Blog Talk Radio. Well, that was a disaster. I tried YouTube. The only reason why YouTube was a disaster was because I had a friend tell me that when I really want to support you, I just can't have my laptop open while I'm at work. And so I'm like, that goes out the door completely. And
Oh.
I, I said, well, let me try a different method to meet people where they're at. And so then little old me um, goes into a podcasting Facebook group and says, what's the best podcast host? And little old me gets their answer. And I go sign up for account, do all that, and then I start the podcast. And I've been doing this for over 10 years.
Mhm. Mhm. So you really know what you're doing. It's
Oh,
it's
yes.
come a long way. It's a whole new ballgame. About 14 years I wrote a book and I self-published. And I tried to get a publisher and then I'm like, you know what? It's better to just have self-publish. And now self-publishing is just so convenient for everybody, but there's different methods of doing it. But it's amazing to be able see this is what I'm talking about. When this is just so amazing that anybody can write a book and self-publish it. A good book is something else, but we can all do it. But there's so many things that you can do with the podcasting, and it's like a very amazing job. And your topics and some of your interviews are great. I was just so happy to be able to share this with you.
Well, I was
I do.
too.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was too. No, I was. That's why I picked up the phone and called you when you gave me your phone number because I I will always be authentic. I will always I consider myself the kitchen table journalist. I mean, you guys can those of you who've followed me, I unfortunately got my hands caught in the cookie jar because um someone posted a picture on Facebook of me. Well, someone took a picture and then handed it to me, and then I decided to post it on Facebook. And people like, "Where are you? What's going on?" So then I had to make a huge long Facebook post about it. But people like, "Okay, you got out of a bad situation to then still do your work." And I said, well, that's the way I roll. I roll from a hotel room, I roll from my office and home too.
Yeah.
And um, so I will always be authentic and I will always tell you the honest truth. And I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation with Jessica and I. And I know we went all over the map, but all over the map is some is good. I mean, someone can relate to something in this um, podcast episode, and let's just hope that they can relate. And I wish you, Jessica, the best success, and I wish
Thank
you
you.
guys the best 2021 ever. Let's make it epic, and let's see
Absolutely.
what we can do about the coronavirus shot and the politics kingdom of God, and let's see if they can be kind to their fellow humans, and
Mhm.
let's keep looking up from here. And I hope you guys enjoyed another fabulous episode of Ask Gwen, and we'll have more of Jessica's information in the show notes. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, do all that good stuff. And I just hope to see you guys in the future, and maybe you connected with Jessica. If you did, you did. But I'm hoping that um, this conversation relate related to you in some aspect or another. And I hope you guys enjoyed another fabulous episode of Ask Lynn. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.